Warning. Warning. You are about to enter the propaganda report.
That's right.
With Brad Binkley.
And Justin Ridgway today.
Warning. Warning.
How you doing?
You are about to enter the propaganda report.
Yes, you have entered the propaganda report with Brad Binkley and Justin Ridgway today, who's doing a little experiment in a new studio where we're trying out the streaming capacity and having two people on camera at one time, an in-studio guest for the first time since the last time. And I forgot the connection to my camera, so we have a little bit of a weird camera rig going on, and the audio might be a little whacked also. So I apologize if that's the case. This is an experiment, and it'll be a brief show. Welcome, Justin. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me, Brad.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
Justin is the creator of the intro song that we've been using for quite some time. The man himself. Very good song. We appreciate that. And today, a little bit to talk about, a little bit in the news. Maduro, Minnesota, and Memetic warfare. And it all ties in together because everything is Memetic warfare right now. It's a form of propaganda that modern society has enabled propagandists to capture the mass mind and flip opinions and flip positions that they take in the blink of an eye and create aggressive, emotional, screaming arguments against anyone who doesn't also take that position. And to me, it's a little bit more dangerous than any of the stuff that's going on right now, because if you can capture the public mind, then you can do anything, especially when you can flip opinions so quickly. We will make you popular. Oh, I got a spam. First chat of the day. We got a spam from what is this?
What does this say?
What? It's somebody's offering. It's one of those. You get spam on your text, you get spam phone calls, and now you get spam in the chats on StreamYard. It's crazy. I think that's from the gaming network we're streaming to. I'm not exactly sure where all we're streaming right now. Nevertheless, let's get that off screen. All right. So let's start off with briefly, and I don't have all of the details of it. I followed it a little bit, but there was that shooting in Minnesota, that incident in Minnesota where an ICE agent shot a woman who was trying to drive away. There was ICE agents surrounding the car. There was a cop in front of the car. I don't know what was going on before that. I don't know what led up to it. There were some protests going on. There was some sort of ICE. I don't know what the targeted ICE raid was, but there was talk of that. But this woman in the video started to kind of drive away, and there was a cop in front of her pointing the gun, and he shot her, according to the news, 3 times in the face. And the right, or Trump, and Real Doll, Kristi Noem, are saying that she was committing an act of domestic terror by trying to run over this officer. And so they took out the threat. And the Minnesota mayor of that town and the left are saying that it's an abuse of power, that they don't know how to control themselves. They just shot her. It's a terrible situation when you look at it. And the media creates this anxiety around everyone where people who are on one side see police officers and they think, oh my God, they're going to kill me, which causes you want to get out of there, like this person did. And then on the other side, you have cops thinking, oh my God, they want to kill me, which can create itchy trigger fingers. It's all terrible, and it's all culturally created by the media propaganda apparatus that wants to create fear in everybody for their own purposes. And this is the type of stuff that happens. And you have these protest organizers. I don't even know if this woman was a protester or not, but they send people to the front lines of these protests. They don't go themselves. The Stacey Abrams, the Obamas, the Steve Bannons, they send people to show that they can organize masses of people to go do something that's not in their best interest, that leads them to being in situations like this, that results in, sadly, someone getting killed from time to time because of this. And the political... The vultures just jump in and they look to use this for their own political gain. And we're going to see that. And there was people yelling at the reporters, the CNN reporters there, screaming at them. And they were saying, this is a mile from where George Floyd was killed. And there's these protests that are emerging. Don't go to these protests. Protests are a setup. They're going to have them all over the country. I guarantee it. There's probably one in Atlanta right now on the back of this, because they look for these incidents, maybe sometimes create them to cause chaos. And then they divide the public by simplifying what happened into memetic warfare. And Justin, you, and I'm going to go in a moment. I'm going to go into DARPA and how the government they're studying. They've been investing in strategies of using memetic warfare to do this exact thing for at least 15 years. But you brought up something earlier that you saw online.
Yes.
Tell us what that was. And this is related, somebody reacting to this incident. And
So I saw this guy, he posted this quote, and I've seen this quote circulated from other people as well, Republicans too. But the gist of it is basically, don't let the state, or the state's going to tell you what to not believe with your eyes and ears.
the George Orwell quote is what it is. And the quote is, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. And it was shared by somebody you know.
It's a guy that I know, and he shared it in response to the shooting, saying that, the president is saying that it was an act of terrorism, and he saw the video with his own eyes, so...
And both of the positions that are being taken on the left and right are ignoring the nuance of it. They're ignoring the problem fueling it, the media, the propaganda that causes this to manifest. But I put that quote into Twitter search because I see that quote posted every day. It's such a meme. It's become this thing where I won't ever say it or post it just because it is such a signal of capture, in my opinion, by memetic warfare. And let me see if I can share the screen with you guys here. I've only got one screen. I don't have my monitor here, so I apologize if I don't see chats or if this is a little bit disorganized, but here we go. Okay. Let's see. All right, on screen, let's see if I can take us off screen there. What you see there, that's the search for the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. And I have it on latest. And you see 46 seconds ago someone said that, retweeting the ICE officers in Minneapolis conducting target operations. Then you have a representative gerrymander, which is, I guess, a parody account, saying it 49 seconds ago. Then 1 minute ago, retweeting one of Trump's truths on Truth Social. And then 1 minute ago. So basically, people have been posting and sharing this exact quote over and over again since it happened. Megyn Kelly, resharing Megyn Kelly, somebody said it. This is memetic warfare. This is an opinion that has been put into their minds about what happened instantly and without looking into the nuance or even seeking details about what happened, because it satisfies the confirmation bias on the left and right. And I'd be willing to bet that you have people on the left and right using this quote, but someone put this out there. I bet this was not a natural thing, and it caught on and it trended to the top of the algo, and then all of a sudden people are sharing it because it speaks to them, it resonates with them. They don't even realize that this is like a coordinated thing to get people to take one side or the other in a conflicting way without asking questions and seeking more. People feel like they have to have an opinion instantly. They have to take sides instantly. Nobody wants to wait a second and see what happened and ask questions. We instantly take a side, and we instantly hate the other side, and we're angry at anybody who doesn't join us. And that is caused by this divide and conquer tactic of memetic warfare by putting things like this. Usually it's memes with images that are fun, which I'm going to show you one of those. But this satisfies all the thinking for anybody, so they can just go ahead and start engaging in online social media conflict, which is the purpose, because they don't want people having conversations. And I had no idea. Justin showed me this right before the show started, and I had no idea that there was going to be just endless amounts of this exact quote being tweeted. That's obviously an operation. That's not natural. And we talk about dead internet theory, where everything's bots. Everything is bots. Even people become bots. Because the bots influence the people. They resonate with the people. You ever resonate with a bot?
Yeah.
Yeah?
They say something exactly that just hits you
right. And it strikes you and you go, yeah, I'll share that. But then I'll be like, because I'll get caught up in one every now and then too. I'll go, wait a minute.
It's saying something too too well.
Is this an AI bot that's really speaking to me right now? I need to go check this, see if there's a lot of other people. And it sucks because that's a good quote.
It's a great quote.
And I'll never use it again.
It's so rude.
Yeah.
Well, what I was telling Brad too before this is actually the first time that I saw this quote recently was Republicans were tweeting out this quote a lot in reference to the trans movement, and so I just think that it's hilarious that the two sides are just using the same argument, but they're just using it as leverage for just like different things,
Yeah. So they're using it. Right, and they use it a lot. So thank you. The audio is a little bit loud. Is it just my audio or Justin's also? We were having some problems with the audio beforehand, so I appreciate that. Yeah, let me know if it's still loud. I'll see if I can tweak that down a little bit. Yeah, they throw it out there and it can be applied to anything. There's a couple others that are on the tip of my tongue that are constantly coming out that are like 1984 related to any incident.
Yeah.
And man, we could probably look through Twitter for an hour and see the different ways that's been applied. And what does that mean? Do you think people who are sharing this, do you think they read this George Orwell quote and they sat down, they reflected, and they said, yeah. Do you think they reflected about what it means and how it applies to the situation? Or do you think they just had some vague reference to 1984 that they saw other people and they just went, hell yeah, F the other side?
Yeah, that's it. Like that. The funny thing is, hardly any of these people have any idea what it means, or they've never even read the book, or
they see a quote that people are sharing. And the reason this works for both sides of this is the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final and most essential command. Well, people, the ICE side of this, the Trump side of this, and the people saying that it was an abuse of power, that they're calling them Nazi Gestapo, which that's another meme that's trending that was put out to trend. It's crazy how quickly these things can trend. It works for both of them because both of them are showing videos. They're showing different angles and different speeds of videos, where one of them, if you just do it on quick glance, it looks like a cop from the behind shot the girl as she was driving away, because you don't really see the cop standing in front of the car. You don't see where the bullets come from. And so they see that, and they don't dig in, and they come to this quote and say yes. And then the other side, you can slow it down, and there's videos that show the cop standing in front of the car that lends credibility to this quote being applied to the other side, a little bit anyway. It's just all such manipulation. And what was it that there was something else about this that people were sharing with the Gestapo, and I don't know. It's just crazy.
About being close to George Floyd.
Close to George Floyd. That's another talking point that people are sharing. Oh my God! And the people on the ground were so angry that the anger over George Floyd is still here, and so they got to tie that to it. And it's just all this narrative to weave together. Just to piss people off. Yeah. Nobody's like, hey, this is tragic and this is awful.
Right.
Let's ask questions and get to the bottom of it and figure out how to prevent it from happening again. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Because
content warfare.
Right. If it didn't happen again, they wouldn't have news cycles like this. They wouldn't have ways to. They wouldn't be able to use these memes to segment people off and turn them against each other, and take attention away from Maduro. Maybe Maduro shot her. Maybe it was Maduro was an ICE agent.
I just feel like each party is just like martyring people left and right. They're just sending them out to the front lines.
That's what they do,
just like
man.
Secretly, like, we're just gonna send
That's what
this
they
person,
do.
We're gonna send this person.
My audio is hot.
Yours is?
Yeah, yours is good. Mine is a little hot. Check.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. We are having a little bit of audio issues. I'll try to keep the mic a little further away here.
You're so hot, dude. That's what it is.
Stop it, dude.
You're just hotting up
Stop
the mic.
it, dude. Check. All right, that's a little better. A little bit. Sorry about the audio, guys. It's like it's kind of being bipolar here. This machine. I don't really understand what's going on with it. But check 1 2. This is weird. Check 1 2. So it's like when it gets to a certain level, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, check check. It gets that check check check. Sorry about this, guys. We're showing you how the sausage is made. Check 1 2. This is crazy. So like it's fine, and then it's like really loud. Check. That's why I have to just check 1 2. Check check. Check 1 2. Yo. Check 1 2. Audio levels check check. Justin, say something.
Hello.
Sorry guys. We're trying to do the best we can.
They love it. They love it. You guys love it.
You think it's the cable, the connection, because it goes up and down when you. Oh, that might be it. I'll try to keep this. Steady. Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, sorry about that.
Thanks, person.
That is L home. Yeah, so we're gonna have to deal with it for now, and I'll fix it in post for the audio show. But I think you might be right on the cable thing. Now that you say that, thank you. This is useful information. I actually appreciate that a lot, because sometimes people don't tell you till after the show. It would like to know. So, whatever. There's going to be riots, and there's going to be other stuff that happens, and people get arrested, and some people are going to get criminal records for protesting simply because they're stirred up emotionally over this, and everything is divide and conquer. I hope it doesn't happen. I would encourage people not to fall bait to it, and listen to people. All right, now I'll just kick this out of the stream. But we're still streaming.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes, it's
Hell
an
yeah.
experiment. It's an experiment.
Oh yeah, dude.
I feel we lost like 20 viewers. It's like a bunch. Always happens. All right.
They'll be back. They always come back.
You don't have to decide right away. You don't have to have an opinion on everything immediately. It's okay not to immediately decide whether you hate or love something or hate or love somebody. And anybody who makes you think otherwise is either caught up by emotional divide and conquer propaganda, or they're an intentional operative that doesn't want you thinking. And that's been consistent since the beginning of time when it comes to propaganda. Now let's talk about Maduro. What do you know about? You're outside the bubble that I'm in on social media. Do you know who Maduro is?
I love a good Maduro. I drink a couple before I go to bed every night.
Yeah, I'll give you. Oh, they help you sleep.
Yeah, I just pound a few back.
Yeah.
Cervezas.
It's like a beer?
Them. Yeah.
Maduro. I guess it could be a beer. Maduro is the president of Venezuela. He was the president of Venezuela.
Yeah.
And
Venezuela, and that is where?
Well, that's a question to ask everybody who's celebrating this. It's to the south of us. It's closer than other countries. And Maduro was accused of being the head of a drug cartel as president. And I can't remember the name of the drug cartel, but this drug cartel running the country and him being the head of it has been the justification for the boat strikes, the drug boat strikes. You know what I'm talking about? Where they've been bombing the drug boats. You hadn't even heard that?
I haven't even heard about the boat strikes. Dude.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of boats that have been blown up by the Department of War, saying that they're bringing drugs over to the country, and that Venezuela is a big drug cartel, even though they're not even. No, it's not fentanyl that it's in the indictment. It's not. It's cocaine, which I find it interesting that so many people are so excited. So many people who do so much cocaine are so excited that Trump got the cocaine dealer, and he's like, let me make the weed. Let me make the weed a. What did he do with the weed? He lowered the criminality of it.
Yeah, he decriminalized it basically. Or he made it like a Schedule 3.
Let me make it a Schedule 3, but then we'll get the cocaine deal. It's everybody knows that there's there's multiple motives for this, and whether you like it or don't like it, I'm still undecided on how I feel about it. I have never believed that anybody's ever going to get congressional approval for anything when it comes to war. That's never going to happen in our lifetime again. It hasn't happened since World War II. It's the idea that congressional approval is needed for an act that may or may not be seen as an act of war is only something that the Republicans and the Democrats use when the opposite party is in power. So when a Democrat's in power, had a Democrat done what Trump did, had Biden done what Trump did, then the Republicans would have been screaming, he should have sought congressional approval, he's violated the Constitution. That's exactly what they would have done, because it is what they've done. Now that the Republicans and Trump is in power and he does something, even the details of, well, it was actually a domestic law enforcement thing, okay, I get it. But if Biden was doing that, it'd be the same thing. But now we have the Democrats all of a sudden caring about the Constitution. None of them follow the Constitution. That is just a talking point to divide and conquer people. And the practicality of it, a precedent of using domestic forces to go arrest people in other countries. I'm not going to go to a foreign country. I'm not going to go to Venezuela. They'll probably arrest Americans as retaliation, unless this is some sort of, they're working together, because they did bring Maduro's whole family over here, and now he's still working with the same regime. It's like, we're going to cut off the drugs in the criminal regime, and we got Maduro, and now we're in charge of the cartel. That's basically what it is, because the regime minus Maduro, and now we're in charge of it. And I do get the, it's really interesting to read about the nuance of the foreign policy aspect of it, which they tell none of the public. They don't tell any of that to the public. The cartel they said Maduro was the head of, that was all over the initial indictment, that was used as justification for the drug boats to bomb them, is not actually a cartel. It's like, what is the dictionary? Urban Dictionary. It's like slang that was created by a journalist in Venezuela, like in the 80s or 90s, I can't remember, to describe politicians who are bought off by drug money. Now, there is difference there, because after they caught Maduro, they went back and changed the indictment. The cartel, I can't remember the name of it. It was in the first indictment that was justification to call it a domestic law enforcement operation as opposed to an act of war, like 35 times. And they had him as the head of it. And then they revised it, and it's only mentioned twice, and it's not described as a cartel. It's described loosely, slang terms like it is. And they did that after they got everybody really excited about it. They used it as justification. And maybe you still like what they did or you don't. I'm just pointing that out because that is how propaganda is done for any type of action that they want approval for before or after, or they want to lay the ground for approval, is you have to give this justification that people can get behind. And what's been proven a number of times throughout our country's history is that justification often turns out not being true. It's just that this time it immediately turned out to not be true. Now, it's loosely true, vaguely, and maybe it's still the right decision. I don't know. But it was still used to deceive. And this is what I'm getting to. The details of all that, we could talk about all that. It's very weird and interesting, and people are going to fight till they're blue in the face about it. But what bothers me about all of it is how quickly people could switch to take one position that they previously opposed. And I've never seen so many Republicans that I know all of a sudden care about something that they would have adamantly fought against had it been the other side. That they previously said, we need to stop all foreign wars. We're America first. What Trump campaigned on. Trump didn't campaign on getting Venezuela because that would have made him sound like a neocon, like all the previous presidents or Democrat presidents, and he wouldn't have gotten the libertarian leaning and the conservative, especially the younger votes. So he campaigned on America first, as he called it then, and the campaign was based largely to the appeals to these audiences anyway on, we're going to end the foreign wars, we're not going to start new ones, we are going to no regime change, non-interventionalism, which I think I said that word wrong. And he might have been tricky in the way he said that, where he can have plausible deniability. But the takeaway from those crowds was he's going to be different. He's not going to do these things. And we're going to vote for him because of that. Had he voted for, we're going to go get Venezuela and Maduro, they would not have voted for him. Maybe you like what he did anyway. I'm pointing out the deceptive practices that we should all be aware of, in my opinion, because it's consistent through all of these politicians. And so many people who didn't care about Venezuela 15 minutes ago screamed at me for saying, that was Biden's. Like, Trump did the $15 million reward initially at the end of his first term. Biden upped it to $25 million, and he also said Trump's going to be weak on Maduro, that Trump loves people like Maduro. And he criticized how Trump was willing to meet with Maduro and that he would fight Maduro. This was the left's position. They should be celebrating it. But now they're doing the opposite. And now the people many of them who voted for Trump, and I heard them personally because I went to some rallies with them, celebrated the anti-war, anti-interventionalism position, are now yelling at me for pointing out their previous position. Hey, didn't you used to? And they scream at me before I even finish the sentence. And they scream at me and they say, "Ooh, you don't need congressional approval." They do like a jerking off face. And I'm going, I didn't say any of that. You're mad at me for something I didn't say. And this happened multiple times to me because they get in the social media bubble. They see the left-right framing of it. They see what is characterized through memes as the wrong position determined by their side, which is the, congressional approval, blah, which is something they used to criticize Obama about. The same people who said Obama bombed Syria and all this with the drones, he didn't get congressional approval, Biden did not get congressional approval, are now doing the blowjob meme to Democrats who are saying he should have gotten congressional approval. Which, flip that, the Democrats, they didn't care about congressional approval when Biden and Obama were doing it. Now, the offshoot of this is they're going to, argue about definitional aspects of it. I get that. But it's the impression it leaves on people. And people I know were reacting to stereotypes of the other side when I simply brought up provable facts, which were, you said this before, Biden offered this reward, and I get screamed at as though I'm Rachel Maddow when I said nothing that she said. And it was impulsive, reflexive, aggressive, and angry. And at one point, someone I was talking to, I said, you didn't care about Venezuela 15 minutes ago. If Trump never did anything with Venezuela, and somebody said to you, hey, how are you feeling about Trump and his administration? You were not going to say, shitty, because I really been waiting for him to go after Venezuela, just like I voted for. Maybe you like the position, okay? But don't yell at somebody for pointing out that there was a little bit of a bait and switch. If you're okay with it, fine. Make an argument. But the memetic warfare that it gets people fired up to take sides about things is they didn't care about previously. Somebody I know didn't even know the name of Maduro. He was screaming at me and he was going, ah! And then he started to say, we got, and he couldn't. I said, you don't even know his name, dude. You don't even know his name. And this is what terrifies me the most about any event, the one in Minnesota, all of them, is that people can be, fractioned off, or it's not the right word, but you know what I mean, segmented off into opposing tribes to war with each other instantly with the use of an effective meme, a dope meme. Is that too as dope? Is that an old term?
I don't know. I don't know what the kids use anymore. Dope? Do they say dope?
I don't know if they said it. Kira USA misses the long hair. I didn't cut it on purpose. I was trying to cut it myself, and then when I got done, I looked like Debbie, a mom named Debbie, so I just shaved it all off. And sorry I can't see some of the comments. I got, like I said, my screen's a little, let's see what we got here. Hey, everyone. What's up? You'll clap when I'm gone. Oh, OMG. Hey, JC. But
You need to grow the hair out again.
the swiftness with which you can get masses of people to all of a sudden mock a position that they previously took when it was another administration in charge and celebrate the actions of a president that they never would have voted for had he campaigned on doing those actions because they voted for them on the opposite. And then yell at people who just point that out. Destroys conversations, makes it impossible for anybody to be united, and it keeps the public tearing each other apart and enables them to flip us on a whim. It used to take a lot longer. You used to have to pass out flyers. You used to have to put it in newspapers, buses, billboards. The propaganda operation to just brainwash and make people switch from one passionately held position to the opposite passionately held position, also attacking anyone who doesn't agree with them. They can do that in a matter of minutes, it feels like. And here's the meme that everybody was sharing around that was so effective, and then we'll go into a little bit of DARPA and their history with all this, in getting people who never cared about Maduro, never knew his name, voted for Trump because of the anti-interventionism, and would have opposed this during the campaign, or if Biden did it. But this got them to forget about all of that because it was such a rock and roll kick-ass meme. FAFO, guys. It's the FAFO meme. Where's that? Oh, get the... You guys probably saw it, I'm sure. It's probably going to be too loud or too low. One of the two. I can't hear it. I can't hear it at all, actually.
Aquí no esperan Miraflores, no se tarde en llegar, cobarde. I just got three things to say.
Hopefully you guys can hear that.
God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start.
This is what Trump posted to True Social. I think you can hear it because I think that the audio is not going to me, but I do think it's going to you guys. So for those listening, it's Maduro throwing his hand up, saying, "Come for me, come and get me, I'm here." At least that's what we're told the translation is. And then it cuts to a bunch of bombings over Venezuela, which is like Trump went and got them. And those bombings are being shown to like rock and roll music, like badass, kick-ass rock and roll. You asked for it, you effed around and you found out. Just like Pete Hegseth said, just like this meme represents. And this meme got so many of my friends fired up about something they never cared about before they saw it. They were so fired up. They were like, we got it. We got the drug cartels. I'm going, you do drugs. You are a drug user. Like, oh, you Democrat, Mike, and screaming at me. And they're going, you congressional. I'm like, I didn't say that. I'm just saying that you don't even know his name. And you only care about this because you thought this meme was so badass and because you like Trump. And this meme was shared over and over again. And the intent of these memes, because one of the guys that Trump works with, Trump is one of the best at this. I think Trump's funny. I'm inclined to like Trump. But for those who listen to the show, my position is always the ones you like are the ones where the propaganda is coming from, not the ones you dislike. And he's the guy who helped him with many of his memetic warfare efforts early on in 2016 and 2020, wrote a publication for the EU in 2015 on the necessity, the need to put resources, put vast war resources towards the new battlefield, social media, and to master the art of memetic warfare, the most important form of war. Because weapons aren't needed when you capture people's minds. Maybe it's good weapons aren't needed, but You tell somebody that this is part of that, and they say, "You faggot Democrat." I'm like, I'm not a faggot Democrat, obviously. Okay. 10 minutes ago, you just called the Democrats faggots, not me. But because I just point out that you've been captured a little, your cognitive dissonance turns you into a faggot and makes you act like a Democrat. And that's the hard thing to tell people. The Republicans who call you a fag Democrat because you point out that they are contradicting a position they previously took and that they've been manipulated by a little bit of slick propaganda, start silencing you and screaming at you, just like the Democrats try to do. It's all the same. And it's designed to be that way. I know I've talked a lot, Justin. I got you sitting here. I know you told me you were tired. You came off work, so that's why I try to make it. I try to run my mouth a lot. So what are your thoughts on this?
No, I was right with you because I agree, and I think this is, like part of this whole thing of like capturing people's minds and like you said that I just think that the ridiculous part about it is how we're using like pictures and like just these little like words over the pictures, and you can just post that and it'll only have like a couple of words on it, but it just can get somebody so fired up. And you have no idea. This person could have just created it just to go, hey, let me just like mess with this person.
Yeah.
Or just like you have no idea the context behind what any of this was created. And it just causes people online like some of these people never even have met each other. They're arguing with each other online.
Half of them are bots.
And half of them aren't even real. So
yeah, it's a symbol. The old way they described it is the old propaganda books is, what's it called? It's like a form of association propaganda when you have a president walk up and you have flags and you have the national bird, all things that are patriotic. They create patriotic feelings just by seeing them.
Yeah.
Like the flag rises up before a football game and stuff like that. That's all designed to stir feelings up based on a symbol. And what memes is a form of symbols that can be quickly adjusted and they can be used to meet the moment. And because of how viral they can go, whether organic or not, probably not usually, they can capture a lot of people's minds and create that symbolic, non-thinking, reflexive emotional action in record time in a matter of less than an hour, really. Like people can, if it connects with them, they see it that way. I mean, it used to take a really long time to do that, and that's what's dangerous about this. This is my broader point. I'm not being that clear about, but they're demonstrating the ability to flip masses of people, to flip their opinion to anything they want in an instant, using these really effective memes. And Trump's one of the best at it. There's a lot of people that are very good. Not Trump, maybe Trump himself, but just their administration is focused on that. And they've worked with people who have worked with DARPA on that. And let me show you.
I think he is the content president, man.
He's the rebranding guy. So he's so good at it. He's very good at it. And if people who hate him so much could just get past their hate and recognize the skill that he demonstrates.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot from it.
Yeah.
Now, you can still dislike what he does,
right,
but you don't have to seethe with hate all the time and become the meme. That's what he's so effective. He makes people become the meme, the screaming lib meme, the comedian on late night TV who doesn't do comedy anymore because everything is, I hate Trump meme. If they could just look past that and recognize the game, then maybe they're not going to be as affected by it and they'll learn from it because it's actually useful in marketing, and you don't have to use it to start wars and divide the pie. It's not just him. It's actually the left also. I mean, it's very much so the left, the Bolsheviks. Like,
it's
so some would argue Trump is engaging in it to go against them because they started. They all do it.
They literally they steal each other's playbooks.
They do.
As they're doing it, and then they go, "Hey, watch! I bet I could probably do it better than you."
That's exactly right. And none of them are innocent, even though every side thinks their side is innocent. So, Memetic. I'm going to read you guys. Sorry to read this. We had to kind of throw this together in this studio, and so to get a chance to kind of minimize my notes. But here, this is a memetic warfare. Hold on. All right. This is a memetic warfare document written for the UN in 2015. 2015. And it was written by a guy, I mentioned him a moment ago, named Jeff Giesa, who is an entrepreneur, a communication specialist, and he's a writer who was a business associate of Peter Thiel. He worked with several of Peter Thiel's companies. And he also was a big Trump supporter in 2016 and 2020. He helped organize the Gays for Trump party at the 2016 RNC following the Pulse nightclub shooting. And he's alleged, it says alleged, to have been involved with the October 2016 pro-Trump art show where Milo Yiannopoulos bathed himself in pig's blood as a performance art piece commemorating victims of undocumented immigrants and terrorism. Also a meme that's playing off of. This is the meme guy. And he also is a writer for NATO's Strategic Communications Journal. And so he makes recommendations to NATO. And this is what this paper that he wrote to NATO, which is, again, titled, "It's Time to Embrace Memetic Warfare," in 2015. This is what this is from. A couple of things he says here. Memetic warfare is defined by Keith Henson as replicating information patterns, ways to do things, learned elements of culture, beliefs, or ideas. A meme is information that propagates, has impact, and persists. Memes can be ideas or symbols, catchphrases, hashtags, or words wrapped in cultural significance. Memetics try to study this process within a form of neurocognitive warfare, a subset of information warfare. He goes on to say that the best way to counter somebody like ISIS, is what the examples he is giving, is to unleash an army of trolls on them. This is something he says Charles C. Johnson, who is apparently a prolific memer, joked about. He said, "I could totally mess with their recruiting and propaganda." And that this is a social media equivalent of an annoying gadfly or guerrilla warrior, depending on your perspective. Where does he get? He gives a few examples that everybody knows now because it's 10 years ago. This was written, like sock puppets, the fake accounts, the attacks, the bot armies, the hashtag activism, ISIS, hashtag ISIS is gay. So like hashtag Christ is King is one that was used to propagate information because, and this is me saying this is not from here, because that's one that people see that and they get behind it if they're a Christian. So they click on it and they look at it, and if you can get people to click on it and look at it, then you can get them to absorb information that you want them to be exposed to. And so you can use memes that attract people because of their beliefs, or you can use memes that contradict something that people hate, that they aren't part of, that you say that they are, like the ISIS is gay type thing. But that's actually a little bit, I would say, archaic. I think it's evolved well past that. And he also goes on to say that trolling, it might be said, is a social and media equivalent of guerrilla warfare, and memes are its currency of propaganda. I mean, this is how the NATO was talking about memetic warfare 11 years ago. Trolling is a social media equivalent of guerrilla warfare, and memes are its currency of propaganda. And they have since invested millions of dollars in developing their ability to do this over the past 11 years. That's something to think about when you recognize the memes that so quickly go viral and are used to shut down conversation, which they always are. They always short circuit any actual, well thought out argument. The first challenge is conceptual towards developing memetic warfare. He's talking about how NATO can do it. And he says, in mainstreaming it into military thinking, it should be thought of as a broader and more strategic term than weaponized trolling. Memetic warfare, as he defines it, is competition over narrative, ideas, and social control in the social media battlefield. I'll say that again. That's interesting. Memetic warfare is competition over narrative, ideas, and social control in a social media battlefield. They see social media as a battlefield. Governments, ours and others, paid operatives, the CIA, the FBI, we're tweeting about the basketball game or our thoughts about some news story, thinking it's just out into the ether. They see that as us engaging in a battlefield of war. Think about that. And they talk about this in this article about how it's more important than kinetic warfare. It's tied to all types of warfare, but this is the most powerful kind. We are literally just typing stuff in with some have a blue check, some don't, putting a picture of our dogs. The military, on the other hand, is surrounding it going, this is war. So the mindset of most people is different. Because most people don't look at just social media posting as engaging in the equivalent of a kinetic war. But some of the top influencers on the platform certainly do. They certainly do. Because these are the operatives. What have you noticed in terms of that?
I just think that, like, the guy that I was telling you about, he, when he posted the quote, the Orwell quote, he also had to put out a disclaimer a little while before that and say that he's sorry that his page has gotten so, like, I guess, dark or whatever. But he says when when you're fighting tyranny, it has to be this way. So he's
okay.
Fighting tyranny.
So tell us who this guy is again. Just about not don't dox him, but just the background of him.
He's an actor.
He's an actor
out in
Los Angeles.
From Los Angeles.
Who believes that he's fighting tyranny through a social media post.
He legitimately believes this.
So by posting that quote,
he's
that
going to battle.
1,000 other people posted because they were manipulated through memetic warfare. He believes that he is uniquely battling tyranny. Yeah. He probably has no idea that was put inside of him to make him think it was his own thought. One of the terms in propaganda, which is one of the most interesting to me, is it's resonance. Everybody knows that term in different contexts, but in propaganda, resonance is what the propagandists try to create. And what it means to them is it makes the target believe that the idea that the propagandists wanted them to have, or the position they wanted them to take, to believe that it came from within them. That they they looked at it and they came to that conclusion. Because if they believe that, then it's more powerful. In fact, it's almost indestructible if you think that you figured it out. That way, if someone says you were propagandized, they say, no, I figured it out. When the propagandist is like rubbing their hands together going, we created resonance, they don't even know. And so that's what this feels like. These people looking at that and going, that's just like that Orwell quote. There it is. And then posting it, not even realizing that 40 other douches within the past 30 seconds in LA probably posted the same thing. Maybe he's not a douche. I shouldn't say that. But anybody who says they're fighting tyranny by posting the most stereotypical, they're captured.
I'm also wondering, too, if what's happening now are people are typing stuff in their computers and then it's aggregating their words and it's like
populating.
It's pushing, it's taking their words and going, this is what he's trying to say. And then it's pushing that feed out to them and then they're going, that's exactly what I
That's it. Yeah.
So, I don't know. There could be a little bit of that.
Everything around us, Amazon, it probably shows you, maybe it shows them an Orwell book. If he's thinking that. Instagram, same thing. Yeah. And when you type something into
And then they all all at the same time, the same video, the same everything. It's like
it's crazy.
Hits like, and you're like, wait a minute.
I get sent. Sometimes I'll get sent the same video just by like a dozen people.
Yeah.
And it is an interesting video always, but the fact that it was sent to me at the same time by so many people tells me that okay, this is the video that they want to use to control the narrative one way or the other.
Yeah.
Because how does so many people get exposed to that? I know the algorithms are very, very powerful, and you start to type something into Google and it just finishes it for you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's based on what you've typed before, or maybe it's based on what you're thinking.
It's probably just building a profile on you, and then
right.
It's like
it fills it out. That's it. That's the one I was looking for. And if someone were to search what's the Orwell quote, that's going to come up, and they're going to share it. And it's a good quote. I'm not going to use it again, but I can't remember the term. They did these social scientists. They have 100 years plus a head start on us when it comes to understanding the way the brain works with the social experiments, the psychological social experiments they've been conducting, usually on us, and we don't realize it, that they've just kind of done it in the wild. And one of them is where if they give you the first idea, the first way to think about something, then it will prevent you from seeing all of the other ways to think about it. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a word for it that, because I have a paper that was like really interesting about this. Without somebody jumping in and saying, no, let me tell you. The person actually would say, maybe think about it, and like, well, it could be this, it could be that. But as soon as someone comes in and says, no, or they make them feel like anything they think is wrong, and they say with a matter-of-fact attitude, this is the only way to perceive this is the framing, then that becomes so prominent in their brain that it makes it very, very difficult to even creatively think of those other possible explanations that you might have gone to easily otherwise.
They're incepting them. Inception.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is a form of inception. And that's why they jump out to establish that narrative, because on all sides, the enemy of those who control, who are in power, is the public analyzing things and coming to their own conclusions without intervention from the messengers and the propagandists. So they jump in and they say, here's what you need to think about it, which just knocks all the other shit out.
Yeah, you can't, like, it just almost short circuits you. It's like,
that's exactly what it does.
You know, and it blocks you from that initial, like, because when you first
the creativity process is critical.
Thinking, like, that initial critical thinking is so important, and then if you're just like already just like seated with some idea, it's so hard to like deviate from that.
And the videos you'll see on YouTube or wherever are usually titled like, here's why what happened is awful and why you should be afraid. So it's framed in, I know what you should think and feel about this, and here's why you should be extremely emotional about it and angry at anybody who doesn't agree with you.
Awful is, if you've noticed this now, all of those words are always in capitalized letters now.
Yeah. Awful. Some image.
Like, it's just like, it's tying an emotion to just like this initial image or this video that you're seeing, and then in bold you have to see that word. Like,
here's why all true patriots should be angry about what just happened. If you're a real American alpha, and people are like, I'm a real American alpha, and so that feeling is already predetermined, and then the information just becomes, that's what I believe, and then they yell at you about. And then people argue with a stereotype, and they say, here's what these enemies will say, and they paint a stereotype of an enemy that becomes what everyone on one side reacts to, which causes them to never listen to anything that anybody who is not that says, because anybody who doesn't say what they've been told they're supposed to think and feel triggers, it's these language landmines, triggers the feeling that this is someone who is the opposition, and then that kicks into gear the programmed reactions that they're given in these videos. And they do this in these activist training sessions. They say, here's what you should think when someone says this and that. If someone says this thing about, someone says the quote about Martin Luther King Jr., who says the content, color of your skin, the content of your character. If someone says that, that means they're a white nationalist. That's actually something that Indivisible Training told all these people, and I went to it, and they were trying to shut down any conservative who might say, why are you all about identity politics? Martin Luther King, he says about the content of your character. They turned that, and they turned Martin Luther King's words coming from the wrong person into a signal of a white nationalist. And that's what all of them do. It's these manipulations of words and emotions to trigger. It's very fascinating to like learn about and watch. Difficult to resist, but the more you notice it, the more you can like take a breath and be like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Because everybody gets a little emotional. You don't have to keep going with it. You don't have to just lie. You don't do that. You're one of the people I know who actually, you don't give a shit about any of it.
No, I don't. I don't give a fuck about anybody.
Yeah, you don't care about any of it.
I don't care, dude. But you know what's so funny? It's actually, I was thinking about this as you said it earlier. It is so much easier to mainline information to people now than it ever has been.
Totally.
Dude, it is just being just like, they have just like broken the governor off that thing, and it's just fucking flooding because that's how people aren't able to sort of pick up on it because, dude, I get it, man. Life is too fast. You've got too much shit going on. Like, I've got bills to fucking pay, dude. Like, and Brian's saying I don't care.
Right.
I don't give a fuck, dude, because I got bills to pay.
Right.
I don't have time to look at the internet and get angry at something.
Yeah, but what about the only way to lower gas prices is if we get Maduro?
Yeah. Exactly, dude. We fucking get them.
But that's the argument with the oil, and maybe it's correct, but it's so they have that establishment. You're exactly right. Trump's America First campaign, when he was appealing to voters, and he's very good at campaigning, was, as I said, it was a non-interventionalism. At least that was a takeaway. I always notice the wording when it's tricky, because they always use tricky wording so they can later say, I didn't say that, that's how you heard it, even though they wanted them to hear it that way. But he then turned this, going to get Maduro, this is America First, this is the most America First thing ever, which his campaign knew that that's not how, during the campaign, it would have been viewed. Maybe they have come to view it that way now because of his framing, and he's so good at rebranding. But it's been rebranded as America First because we're going to get the oil, we're going to lower the oil prices, and maybe so. We'll see. But what the broader impact is, I think that there's a lot for people to discuss there.
And just say you're going to get the oil. I don't care.
At least they're honest about that. Though. Because they always go to get the oil, though.
We need that oil, people.
They always go to get the oil. I don't know. This whole thing is, and I don't like to like stoke fear about World War III or anything, but this is the type of thing that I'm not going to pretend to understand what's going on behind the scenes with foreign policy. It just, you see patterns, and Trump definitely is one who does things a little differently. Right before this happened, the Council on Foreign Relations and these other think tanks, they have this 2026 threat list where the highest likelihood of happening and the highest impact, and the number one thing was some sort of conflict with Venezuela and Maduro. So they saw it coming because of the boat thing and the rhetoric. Yeah. But what they believed would happen was, there's a number of options. One of them was maybe Maduro, they try to get the revolution to happen over there, which we always do color revolutions, or we try to take them out with strikes, like we kill them, or maybe a deal is made, which I think that could still be, I think that could be something that's going on. It's just weird that they brought him over here the way that they did. It's very strange. And they all believed, all these think tanks, all the international think tanks, 100-year-old think tanks, the British ones, the ones over here, they said that the Nobel laureate, I can't remember the person's name, who people believe actually won the election against Maduro, that person would be put into power. But Trump, who, say what you will about him, he's good at doing curveballs, he went over there and they took Maduro and he said, yeah, no, we're not going to put the Nobel laureate. We're going to keep the cartel in power, but we're in charge of the cartel now. And so that was the unexpected turn that none of those people talked about on those sites anyway. And it is a departure from the other ways that they pursued all the regime change. They keep people so distracted with domestic stuff that to understand foreign policy, like risk, it's just there's books written by like Walter Lippmann and Edward Bernays who are like, well, the goal of the government is to keep the people fighting over domestic issues while they let the big boys worry about foreign policy. And that seems more obvious to me now than ever before. Really, they traded Trey to the Wizards.
You gotta be kidding me, Sarah.
They traded it to the Wizards. Wow. Crazy. You're right. You called that. What did we get, Sarah? From them? We get we get a couple basketballs, maybe a second round pick. Valenthor says I feel TDS will be studied, footnoted, and white papered by a psychiatrist for the next 100 years. There's so much hate. I agree with you. I think that it's just crazy how people can't have conversations. Not just when it comes to Trump. It's gotten to the point now, as I mentioned earlier, that people who love Trump, even though they loved him for different reasons than they love him now, will not have a conversation if you don't also love him. Like, they will yell at you. And that's the goal. The goal is to make it impossible to have conversations. I'm getting yelled at by friends of mine that are Democrats and Republicans now. They all are mad at me. I'm like, fuck all you guys for this bullshit. I'm not the bad guy here. I'm just telling you that you're full of shit. I'm just telling you. I'm just pointing out to you what you used to like that I pointed out when there was a Democrat in office. And now that there's a Republican in office, sometimes Democrats like that. But I'm telling you that this is a manipulation tactic that you've been captured by. Now, if you're okay with it, if the confirmation bias just feels so sweet and so good, makes you so wet, that's fine. We avoid cognitive dissonance. It's exploited. But don't get mad at me for pointing out that you just were on the opposite side of this thing that you're now celebrating because you thought a meme was kick-ass because somebody effed around and found out, and you think it owns the libs. Owning the libs is just... I'm so sick of the owning the libs shit. It's so gay. It's so cringe.
Nobody cares.
It's so Greg Gutfield. Kat Timpf, who she's a libertarian on Greg Gutfield's show. She gave a pretty good argument for her libertarian position about what she thought about all of that, and she just got attacked. She's got attacked by the people on the show. There's a couple of them that were nice about it, but the response was people just going after her. And if you've watched her, she just expressed the same position that she's always expressed. The only difference is there's some definitional manipulation going on that makes people say, what a dumb bitch. You sound like a dumb liberal. And I'm like, no, you do. You actually do, because you're the one who won't have a conversation. And that's what memetic warfare is doing to people. They want people connected to everything. And it's like a double-edged sword, because we need the internet now. We're all like, the world runs on the internet, and we have to be on it. And when it connects us to people we might not have ever been connected with, but it can mess with our minds. It really can. And I think that the solution for it, because we're basically all going to be cyborgs with Neuralinks in, probably with predetermined ideologies. Here's your... all of our beliefs are going to be in this one Neuralink. We have to recognize it, and we have to become Spock-like skeptics of everything. Because everything, the way the world works, is a competition for attention, it's a competition for persuasion, and that leads to deception, propaganda, and the use of these modern tools. And when people have the resources and the power to just flood us with certain points of views and positions through memes that we think are kick-ass, then we are really under attack. Our minds are every single day. And if we're not like skeptical of even those kick-ass memes from those people that we really think are funny and great leaders, or we think are nice, respectable, humble leaders, then we're captured. If you love Trump and you're not questioning Trump all the time, you're captured. If you don't find yourself ever disagreeing with Trump and you love Trump, you're captured. If you loved Biden or loved Kamala, and you don't ever find yourself disagreeing with them, and you find yourself always disagreeing with Trump, then you're captured. If you are never, ever considering that something from the other side that someone says might be true,
Right.
ever, and that everything from your side is always true, then you are captured.
100%. God, I love that when people do that.
And everyone does that. And that's what memetic warfare, that's the purpose of it. Weird how TDS turned grown adults into case study. Really, I think this time period right now, they're already doing social studies on it. Totally.
Yeah,
they just haven't come out yet. We're in the lab, right? Like, we're the lab rats for some of this stuff. Right now, here's some more quotes from this Memetic paper, and I don't want to keep you too long, but I'll show you a couple images, and I will pick up on this later once I get the setup a little more set up.
We'll get it set up.
We'll get the setup set up.
It'll be clean.
Okay, so memetic warfare can be useful at the grand narrative level. This is the NATO paper again. At the battle level and at the special circumstances level. It can be offensive, defensive, or predictive. It can be deployed independently or in conjunction with cyber, hybrid, or conventional efforts. The online battlefield of perception will only grow in importance in both warfare and diplomacy. Regardless of what we call it, NATO countries must continue to develop a body of knowledge around social media strategic communications. Again, it's 11 years ago. And DARPA has since done operations trying to crack the neuroscience of the mind on how to maximize using this type of warfare. It's not about taking control of data. Memetic warfare is about controlling the dialogue. It's about controlling the narrative and the psychological space. It's about disrupting and subverting the enemy's effort to do the same. Like cyber warfare, memetic warfare is asymmetrical in impact. It can be highly effective relative to cost. The attacks can surface large or small, and memetic warfare can be used in conjunction with troops, ships, aircraft, and missiles, or it can be employed without any kinetic military force at all. It operates in the communication battle space. Perhaps the greatest obstacle to memetic warfare being established is a lack of appreciation for social media as a battle space and the extent to which memetic warfare is already taking place. And that's the point that stuck with me. I referenced that earlier. Nobody's getting on Twitter or Instagram and saying, like, all right, let's put on our fatigues and go into war. The average person, do you think that when you go to... When you get online, are you like, all right, time to go to war?
I put the BDUs on. I get the rifle locked and loaded. I'm ready. Warfare, baby.
Right. That's how they're thinking about it. Valenthor says, when a brilliant mind has a thought or an idea in their brain with magical insights that the world is changing, the black budget world already knows. We have technology at that level. Yeah, right. You too. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, that's they study these things, and social media is where they get the data to see how people react. Black budget's like it's the operations that are declassified that you don't know about.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Even for those who live on social media, it's difficult to appreciate how quickly information can spread, the significance of its impact on perceptions, narratives, and social movements. Once one starts viewing the internet through the meme-colored glasses, you see memetic warfare everywhere. In political campaigns, contested narratives about news events, and the thoughtless memes shared by Facebook friends, and in videos on YouTube to galvanize public support. For memetic warfare to succeed, the decision makers need to get into the right mindset and empower those who have it. Study what's worked, blah, 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 get the hackers, the PR, the internet trolls involved. It's time to drive towards a more expansive view of strategic communications on the social media battlefield and adopt a more aggressive, more proactive, and agile mindset and approach. It's time to embrace memetic warfare. 11 years ago. And now this was 15 years ago, and then we'll get out of here. Well, we'll take, quick left turn from that, just real briefly. You know, I bet the courtroom sketch artist thought that they had peaked with Diddy, and then we got Maduro. You know, here's the courtroom sketch art of Maduro. Here's one of them. Now, these must be very different sketch arts. He seems here, he's wearing the translation glasses. Seems relatively normal, although his wife here is blonde, and it looks like she has what appears to be a snake or something crawling on the inside of her skin on her face. You see that?
Yeah.
Then you come over here, and you have a whole different woman. Everybody in this photo looks different. You have Maduro, who's a lot more haggard, and he's wearing what appear to be nursing scrubs with holes in them and a pink undershirt. And then he has a bow-tied lawyer who must be 4 feet 11 inches tall, who forgot to comb his hair, and then his wife is apparently a giraffe. A very different neck and face here. And then you have, in the background, the law enforcement marshals. One of them doesn't have a face. It's a faceless law enforcement marshal.
I saw that guy on Dick Tracy, I think.
That's him.
That's him.
And then there's a close-up there. Look at that. That's his wife in this one.
Dude, she's hot.
She looks really good. And then go back to this one, and you find out something else that's interesting here, is that from this... This is the first one. Make sure it's on screen. Make it a little bit bigger here.
Oh, yeah.
The first courtroom sketch artist.
What is your
apparently Maduro. This one's from the back.
He's wearing fucking diaper.
Maduro's wearing an orange diaper.
Why?
There must be a demand for courtroom sketch artists. And he's wagging his finger at a little tiny guy in a suit who has like a lowercase O for a face. And then there appears to be a U.S. Marshal.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe his head here.
Dude, aren't you?
Why is he in a orange diaper?
Well, that's because you don't see when you piss yourself. That's all.
And this appears to be the character, the monster from the movie Ring, has crawled out of the screen and is sitting front row. I guess that's the transcriber.
What? This is the.
Maduro's like, give me my pants in this picture.
This is the most fucking weird.
I've
never seen.
How does this people? How are they in the same room and they can see something so differently and they're being paid to draw them that way?
Dude.
The orange diaper is a sign of power. Yeah. I mean, that is ridiculous. I mean, I feel like I could be a courtroom sketch artist with this.
Definitely could.
And I feel like Trump would have said he was wearing a diaper when we picked him up.
He would already shit his pants.
Another interesting related story is that Maduro had that Nike jumpsuit on, tracksuit on, in that photo on the helicopter. And, well, that tracksuit, which is $150, then it sold out immediately. Another kind of impact of Memetic war. Who sees that and is like, I got to get that Maduro outfit? Maybe the whole thing is a Nike ad. Maybe that's what. Gotcha. We're working with Nike. This was a Maduro come out here. We stole all the Nike tracksuits for $150. He's brilliant. Trump's also wearing one.
He's coming out. He's like, hi.
I want to know who these people are that are buying the tracksuit after seeing a 65-year-old.
No, that's so bizarre.
Dictator in it. All right, real quick, I'll show you guys some of this. This is a Memetic warfare tutorial that the government put out in 2011. They worked with DARPA on this. Yeah, there it is. I did a show on this years ago. but it feels like it's been like kind of fully manifested. The social media for defense summit in Alexandria, Virginia, and then they have all this weird meme stuff on here. These are outdated memes, no doubt, but this presentation based on Project's robot technology performed for the Defense of Advanced Research Project Agency, and we thank DARPA for their support. And then the executive summary is the long war against terrorism and the ongoing conflicts with Islamic adversaries are fundamentally wars of ideas. Meme wars. We are losing the war of ideas. It's 2011 again. We are in an information war and we're losing that war, says Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Our enemy has said that 50% of the current struggle is taking place in the arena of public information. Donald Rumsfeld said that. Challenging disinformation. Turn our enemies' extremist ideologies, oppressive practices, and indiscriminate violence against them. David Petraeus. The other half of the battle is the arena of ideas, countering the rhetoric and methods. We all know that. We all know that by now. This has become kind of a revelation of the method in recent years. Our pragmatic definition is a meme is information which propagates, has impact, and persists. It's a study in the application of meme is what memetics is. And military memetics is the application of memes for national security. 2011. So we have DARPA doing a study and publishing a report on military memetics for the sake of applying memes for national security in 2011. So everything that we see on social media, we should remember that, especially when it catches fire and divides people. It can provide a coherent scientific approach for information operations, psychological warfare, and the general war against terrorists. Or each other. I'm adding that part. It can prevent or mitigate international conflict, reduce the probability of war, or increase the probability of peace or victory, or war. I'm going to throw that in. Rebranded, and we got a comment, rebranded and evolution of neuro-linguistics programming is basically advertising. Yeah, totally. An example of memes are words, ideas, symbols, icons, logos, tunes, poems, catchphrases, fashion, technological processes, making arrowheads or gumbo is the example, fables, religion, graffiti, images, novels, movies, narratives, culture, functional or dysfunctional, national, tribal, or organizational. What I'll add to that is, because that's always been, propaganda has always sought to use every point of contact, as they call it, to people for communication. Could be the wall of a bathroom in a men's room in a bar. Somebody writes something above the urinal. It could be a bus, anywhere you can get information to people. But they've taken this and they've mastered this idea of symbols, words through a very shareable communication platform of social media that has changed. It's like Edward Bernays' wet dream. You can reach masses of people in an instant, whereas you reach 5 people every 30 minutes through a bathroom flyer or a billboard. It passes by people, but they don't recognize it. But when people are online all the time and they're constantly exposed to it, they might see it without even realizing they've seen it, because it's been in front of them so often that it just gets absorbed into their unconscious. Memes can be described by their external phenomena. E-memes, well, I don't think anybody does it that way anymore. E-memes are manifested in their effects on human behavior and culture. Of course. There's 2 effects or manifestations of memes. The tools and technology for studying them via their simulated or actual propagation over social media networks. So we're the lab is what that means.
Yeah.
And they're especially efficient and effective for propagating memes. The tools include the internet, the phone, text, voicemail, propagation, rumors, gossip, propagation, buzz, or viral marketing. Also, neuroeconomic behavioral experiments involving game theory, risk, attention, and awareness, learning, evaluation, motivation, emotion, behavior, trust, and attachment, and addictive behavior. I'm not going to go through all this. I'm going to read it and kind of make it shorter. But the point in showing you guys this is that they've been working on this with DARPA for a long time. They're ahead of us. And we are where the experiments happen. So next time you feel like you want to yell at your friend because you're so excited about a badass meme, because it owns the libs and it FAFO'd some foreign leader whose name you don't even know. Take a breath and consider the possibility that you've been captured by memetic warfare that doesn't want you thinking through the nuances of the situation. Critical thinking of the public is the enemy of the propagandists who try to control us. I almost had a really great quote there, and then I
well, that's okay.
spoke.
Because just remember what Brad said. Before you yell at your friends, you know who we're talking to. Don't yell at your friends. You know.
Yeah,
You
totally.
know.
Totally. You know who we're talking to.
You know who we're talking about.
Even though, dude, you listened for 5 minutes.
Dude,
and
you didn't even.
and you started gaming. You started gaming.
What's going on?
You're
probably over at that girl's house. Remember that one time we couldn't find him a long time ago? You remember this dude?
Yeah, he was at a girl's house.
He was at a girl's
Good
house.
for him.
Yeah, you know that is
Good for him. Good for him.
But still, dude, what are you doing right now?
To that point, you escape the news propaganda. And it gets so overwhelming. It's my job, and it overwhelms me. I can't imagine people who just like casually tune into it. And you go do some gaming, and what happens in gaming? Well, you get online. And you got a bunch of undercover feds trying to say, hey, can you believe what they're doing to you? Maybe you should do something. I got all these materials that could create something explosive, wink, if you know what I mean.
Aren't they just making you mad enough to blow something up?
Can you believe they ruined your life and everything you could have? You could have been great. I'd be angry if I were you. And then they say, meet me here. They hand them a bomb, and then they say, you're under arrest for a domestic terrorist plot.
Push this button. Oh,
shit, you did it.
Button, dude. You pushed it.
And then the same people who entrap them go on the news and say, we thwarted a terror attack.
Yeah.
You created a possible one. A summary of that document about the memetic environment and the objectives of meme warfare is to detect, classify, measure, and track the formation, development, and spread of ideas and concepts, which are memes, and purposeful or deceptive messaging and misinformation. So they want to keep a track of it, see effectiveness of it. And then recognize persuasion campaign structures that influence operations across social media sites and communities. I mean, they're getting this down to a science, and it's 15 years ago. Identify participants and intent and measure effectiveness of the persuasion campaign so they can identify the influencers who are the most effective, who they can then go to and either threaten through compromising material or say, hey, I bet you like money. Why don't you sell some shit to the public and your crowd who follows you? And this is part of the trust effort, too. Davos has been pitching, we need to win back the trust of the people because the elites lost their trust during the pandemic. And that entire effort to regain it has been, let's pretend to be people podcasting in their basement. Let's try and mimic their authenticity so that they don't realize it's us. And let's try and deliver those messages through trusted sources. Let's win back trust by lying to them and shedding our old. That's why you saw the Chris Cuomos and all these people leave CNN and all these other networks and then go start podcasting in their basement. Yeah. And they have different clothes on. They pretend like there's not a big staff behind them. And all of a sudden they're criticizing the communicators and journalists that they were just a part of, and the messaging that they previously propagated, they act like they didn't. It's all because of this effort to mimic the authenticity of independent media sources who they want to destroy. And the memetic warfare is part of that as well. And then finally, part of the process is they want to analyze the counter messaging and detect adversary influence operations. And further down this document, it talks very specifically about how it's necessary to seek out anyone who is starting to garner influence, who is an adversary to their message, and to silence them. And that's happened already. We've all seen it. It's happened to me. It's happened to many of you. It's happening again right now. I'm not going to say Candace Owens is their operative, but I'm saying Candace Owens is their operative. And there's other operatives as well. But the impact that comes from these big influencers who can say the things that for some reason none of us can is that they get branded as the crazy conspiracy theorist that needs to be silenced, and the legislation needs to stop their hate-filled conspiracy theories, and they are pairing it with hate speech. Those people move on to their next operation, and they make themselves a martyr. The rest of us who saw what was going on and pointed out, we suffer the consequences of their actions, and it's very intentional. And it's laid out in these government DARPA documents and others exactly how to do it. And when you tell people that, you also get yelled at. That's the lesson. Spotting a con artist because you've experienced a true con artist. Before I ever met and experienced an actual on-the-ground con artist, who that's how they live their entire life, I didn't realize people could be that way. I could see it in movies, but I could never comprehend it myself because I would never do that. I didn't know anybody who would do that. But then I met someone who actually did that to me and my friends, and I believed them at first. I figured it out. So did one of my other friends, but nobody else around us did. And when we told them, they defended their deceiver and yelled at us until eventually, after a long period of time, they discovered that we were correct. There's not a lot of money or a lot of friends to be made in pointing out the liars. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, look at the last comment.
He's right. It was definitely a woman.
I almost said something too.
But in the defense of women, there's men. I know men who do it too. I know dudes in the liberty movement who are, I know for a fact, are con artists. But I've told some people who I've gotten closer to who I realized that they only stayed silent because they thought everybody else liked them. That's a spiral of silence is a real thing too. People can pay for a social media following, like Twitter. You can buy hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter, which will make you look like a prominent influencer, which will cause then thousands of more people to follow you. And then you can use that, even though the bots will get weeded out. You can then use that, though, to get booked at certain events, which will then build your following more. And then you can pay people who are other influencers to, under the guise of saying, this is my boy doing this and that, you can do ads that are native ads that you aren't told are ads. And that is definitely going on in the liberty movement. 100% I know for a fact. And I can't tell everybody that because I know a lot of people who listen to me, and they like some of these people. And when I brought that up, they've gotten mad at me. And it's not, it's tough for me because my whole job has been like, I'm just pointing out deception and con artist tactics. And I try not to jump to conclusions when I don't have personal experience with people. But when I have personal experience with people, and I know for a fact, because they've literally done it to people that I know, that I've been in group chats with. Basically, I know someone who has been able to get group DMs that I started, and that they said very weird and odd manipulative things trying to get money out of people and didn't realize that I was like, not that I was going to be like, what's going on, dude? This is a little weird. Then deleted it. Got an entire chat chain deleted from my inbox. It's like somebody going into your email and deleting an email chain that you started, except on Twitter. And this happened to me, and I looked all across Twitter, all of the forums, and I contacted the help to find out if there was any way that a group chat that you started could get completely deleted without you deleting it. And I found out there's one way to do that. And it is to report the entire group message as hate speech against you and show the evidence of that. Now, one of the other people in that chat with me was a troll. This person is a very funny person, liked to troll the left. And that person's Twitter feed could be what was used, because the sarcasm in the chat, it was like we're boys, we're talking, we're all being funny. This person didn't realize that the joking around and saying things was going to be used against him in that chat, and then his profile was going to be pointed to by this person who reported the whole chat. Because what happened was, the moment that the entire messaging chain got deleted from my inbox, this person, this friend of mine, his entire Twitter profile got suspended forever. He had like 15,000 followers, got suspended forever. He attributed it to the left coming after him. I knew that that wasn't the case, because I suspected the other person in the chat was the one behind it. And that person knew that my friend would blame the left and wouldn't suspect somebody that he had admired because of their big following, which is artificial. And I did a lot of research to 99% confirm that this is the only way that this happened. And there's only a certain amount of people that I can tell this to, because people won't believe me. And I don't have a way to prove it other than the data that I download from Twitter that shows when I started the conversation, and then a blank spot, because it deletes it from your Twitter data too, and then when what happens after that, which is nothing. And these people get such a big following by paying for it that they can just block the people all the time who point these things out. And eventually people find out, because grifters are always exposed. It just takes time, and then they go on to the next grift. And they're shameless, and they do things none of us would do. They operate outside a morality structure that 99% of the people operate, which is why it's so hard to believe when people tell you that you've encountered one. And yet, it is these people who have mastered social media who are becoming some of the most influential people in the country right now. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. Like, it's very difficult for somebody who is an honest operator to be influential on any of these platforms, because you got to swallow your tongue. You got to swallow your tongue when you see the bullshit. Otherwise, you'll get shut down, not just by the influencers themselves who are lying, but by their followers who are turned rabid. Yep. What do you think? I know I've talked way too much, and I appreciate you doing this with me, Justin.
You have this is a show.
I know, but I love having you.
He's supposed to talk a lot. I'm just like what's the guy? I'm Ed McMahon.
You're Ed McMahon.
I'm just an Ed McMahon here. I'm just here to go, ha ha, zing.
I watched an Ed McMahon video the other day. Ed McMahon was there, and they were talking. I don't even remember what they're talking about, but Ed McMahon was hammered. Yeah. And he kept, he was so obviously hammered, and Carson just kept, trying to get back into his show, and then Ed McMahon would say something ridiculous, and he'd go, "You think you're fooling people right now?" It's great. It's great. All right.
I had great.
Thanks for doing this. Thanks for this as an experiment. Sorry about the audio again.
Yeah, sorry guys. We'll do it.
We'll do it again, and yeah, we're trying live. Yeah, we're working on getting a little studio action going here, and it's always fun to talk to you. You don't yell at me. No. I don't mind being yelled at, though, actually. I don't mind, as long as the conversation...
You didn't see that other comment. Let's just read the one.
Which one?
Or you need to go up. This is Brad's life. Brad's typical day. He wakes up, breakfast.
Yeah, that's right.
Yell at him.
Brad's typical day. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. That's correct. El Hombre. People shout at him. Lunch. People shout at him. Snack. People shout at him. Dinner. People shout at him. Sleep. People yell at you. And that's what bothers me the most, is the people yelling at me in my sleep. Right there is go to. I'm going. Go to sleep yourself.
Yeah.
Get some sleep yourself.
Take it easy.
Nothing like an argumentative political fight breaking out in the middle of a gaming chat. I'll tell you that. That's an underrated avenue for really stirring up, because people get so angry when they're gaming. You want to get people when they're at their most angry and then feed them some political division? Do it when they're gaming and they've been killed 10 times in a row in Call of Duty or whatever it is, or they're losing in college football. That is when you can set people off right there.
Get them Riled up.
Get him real riled up, Jack.
Riled up, Jack. Riled up, baby.
All right.
All right.
Let's do it. Let's get out of here. All right. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Sorry if I missed some of the comments. We'll do.
We're leaving. We're leaving. We're getting out of here.
We're leaving.
Fine. God, we'll leave.
We'll
All right.
talk
If
to
you
you
want,
guys.
if you want us to leave, we'll leave. We're getting out of
All
here.
right, well, yeah, we're gonna go just because you guys. All right. We'll talk to you guys next time. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you, Just. Just you. Before, do you want to tell them anywhere to follow you or anything? I should give you that opportunity.
Yeah. Don't follow me on the street or anywhere like that.
Don't follow Justin on the street.
No. Just.
Yeah, if you want to follow Justin, don't do it. Don't do it on the street.
Don't do it in person. Just follow me.
You play music though. Do you want to advertise your?
Nah.
Plays music
I
at
play music at. You can.
at a hospice. Yeah.
You can probably. Look
He's
me up.
he hosted an open mic at a hospice in Decatur, so you guys can check that out. We'll talk to you guys later. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your day.